6 months ago, I was painting like this. Now I'm able to create art that looks like this. Today I'm going to share with you my 10 top personal tips on how to improve your art in a short space of time. Hi everyone, I'm Rochelle. If you're new here, I'm on a mission to make beautiful, mysterious and immersive art. On this channel, I'm taking you on the journey with me. In this video, I'll show you my painting progress over the past 6 months, and then we'll get into the things I did to improve. So I've been making art for years, but I've seen a massive improvement in my work over the past few months. Of course, I still have a lot to learn, but I finally feel like I'm getting somewhere. The images you see on the screen were all painted over the last 6 months. I definitely had a moment of going backwards with my art. If you have a look at my blog, you can see that I've done better than this in the past. However, I did take an entire year away from art, so that might have contributed to some of these mishaps. I've also never really fully given in to my desire to actually paint, so this was a real challenge for me. It was around the time I painted this that things started to make sense for me. I was using a photo reference, and I made sure to keep coming back to the image when I didn't understand something. It's also around this time that I started to look at multiple images for reference, rather than just one. This mystery piece was also a huge stepping stone for me. I don't want to reveal it yet because I have a video planned around it, but it took me a very long time to do and I learned so much. It was definitely an important milestone for me. I think a large contributing factor to my improvement is the fact that I started committing to actually making full pieces rather than little portrait studies here and little scraps of sketches there. I really made an effort to finish things, and this is where things really started to change for me. So that was my very quick whistle-stop tour through my digital sketchbook. I've pulled together a list of tips I think have contributed the most to my current improvement. Because this list is unique to me, I can guarantee you won't have heard some of these tips anywhere else. So let's get into the points. Tip number 1 is to paint even when you have no tools. Wait, what? Okay, let me explain. This is a brilliant tip because it really works. I don't remember where I heard the advice, but basically this is an observation technique. What are you doing when you're on the bus to school or work, staring out the window or at the back of someone's head, right? Why not use that opportunity to study the light? What colour is it? What colours are the shadows outside? How strong is the light and how does that affect the shadows or the way your eyes perceive differences in textures? How does the light fall on the curly head of the person sitting in front of you? Can you capture that in your mind and paint it when you get home? Not only does this tip help you develop your observation skills, it's also helping to improve your memory of how light, and therefore the world, works. Painting is 70% understanding and 30% technique. Knowledge is what will make your art better. Use the time, even when you don't have any tools, to paint with your eyes. Tip number 2, take your time. This is actually my number 1 point and top tip. One of the biggest reasons I never made art I was happy with was because I always rushed. For some reason I assumed good art was made quickly, and if you were slow, that equaled being bad. This is never the case. It took some artists years in the past to finish pieces. If you don't have a deadline, why are you rushing? Why not instead take your time and put in the effort to get it right? Isn't that more important? Speed doesn't mean anything. It wasn't until I forced myself to slow down, which meant it took me 2 months to finish a painting, working on and off over the days and weeks, that I realised how important it is to take your time. Finishing a piece in one sitting means you miss things because your eyes adjust to the way the painting is and you think everything looks just fine. Coming back after a few days gives you a great fresh perspective. This is important if you want to make art that looks good It doesn't happen in one sitting. Take your time and work on it until it feels right. That's the only way you're going to truly grow. Point number 3 is draw, and draw some more. I had to include this one. I know it's on everyone's list, but it's there for a reason. This is the 30% portion of point number 1. Muscle memory is going to get you very far, so practice the things you struggle with until you can do it with your eyes closed. Point number 4 is read the books Lighting for Artists by Richard Yott and Creative Illustration by Andrew Loomis. These books have helped me immensely when it comes to understanding light and how it works with colour. Loomis's book also goes into detail for other subjects too, including anatomy, value and composition. In my opinion, these are 2 books every self-respecting artist should have on their bookshelves. Point number 5. Study anatomy, composition and design. Really, you could actually get away with just studying design these days. A lot of art these days does not strictly follow the rules of anatomy and composition, but in my opinion it's important to understand the rules before you break them. A great book I have on composition is by Ian Roberts, and I would highly recommend checking that one out. My favourite anatomy teacher is Glenn Villepeu. Point number 6. Study your favourites. This is really important because there's something about what they do that you love, and you need to do a little investigative work to figure that out. Once you understand what it is that makes the work of your favourite artist stand out to you, you can start applying this to your own work and start making the kind of pieces you've been dreaming of. This is not being a copycat. This is standing on the shoulders of giants. What will happen is your work will become a mishmash of all the art styles you love, and before you know it, you will have created something unique to you. Point number 7. Keep an eye out for up-and-coming artists in your niche and see if you can discover who they've been learning from. Compare their work through the months. What has been their largest improvements to you? Can you do the same in your own work? This is learning from the people around you who are at the same level as you. Speak to them. Join art communities. Find out what these artists are learning and who from. Absorb all the information you can. Don't compare yourself to the progress of others as you do this. Instead, see your comrades' progress as a source of inspiration and see if there's something you can learn from them or you can learn from each other. Point number 8. Paint the things you find hardest to do. This is really important. Don't keep painting the same things over and over again because you just won't grow. In fact, you will become a one-trick pony. Instead, force yourself to paint the things you don't usually do. Find hands difficult? Start painting them today. It doesn't matter if you're rubbish at it now. Putting in the work today means tomorrow you will be able to do it with so much more confidence, and that's what we're working to achieve. Confidence in your approach to art. Point number 9. Invest in your success. Some people manage to be completely self-taught, and that's brilliant, but not everyone can achieve this. Or maybe you just feel you need an extra helping hand somewhere. There are so many online courses that you can choose to learn from. For example, there's the New Masters Academy, there's Oatly Academy, there's Control Paint, there's Gnomon workshops. There are so many places you can buy courses, even just YouTube in general. Invest in your success. If you don't invest in yourself, how can you expect anyone else to invest in the work you make? Go out there, learn the skills that you need to learn. There are plenty of teachers out there putting hard work and effort into quality tutorials to help you to grow and to achieve the art that you want to make. Don't be lazy. Invest in your success. My last point number 10. Remember why you wanted to be an artist in the first place. Art block sucks, and it will stop us from painting for days, sometimes months, which was actually the case for me. Sometimes you actually need a break, and I encourage you to take it when you feel like you do. Burnout does not benefit anyone, but when you're just in a slump and finding it hard, go and watch that old cartoon you used to love that made you want to start drawing, or read that book that inspired you to draw and make fan art in the first place. Try to remember what it is that made you want to make art. Was it a person? Was it a book? Was it a cartoon? Was it a film? Go and watch it. Go and read that book. Remind yourself of who it was that you wanted to be and why it was you wanted to do this. This will be the silent driving force behind everything you do, and will keep you making art even on days where you sometimes feel like you don't want to. So how did I apply all of this to this painting? Portraits are one of the things I've been striving to get better at for a long time. So I took my own advice and studied them. I went back to basics, studying the planes of the face and the placement of the features. There are so many amazing teachers you can learn to do this from, but off the top of my head, I'd advise you to look at lecturers like Ron Lemon, Chris Legaspi, and Steve Houston, just to name a few. After memorizing the placements, I worked on painting. As I've mentioned before, I have a pretty clear idea in mind of how I want my work to look. So I make mood boards with the work of my favourite artists. I study them and I reference them along the way throughout my painting. As you can see, I'm not striving for realism. Rather, I'm looking for something close to it but also slightly off. I have a lot to do, but it does feel like I'm getting closer. That's all I have time for in this video. I hope you enjoyed my tips. Don't forget, art is hard. Don't measure other people's successes against your own. Stay in your lane. Make this journey personal to you and compare yourself only to the artist you were yesterday. Subscribe if you like this video for updates every time I post. If you have any art related questions, let me know and I'll reply or answer them in my next video. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.